Padma Kumar Patil has two questions actually. The first question is, out of the following two, which has a better risk and return ratio, overnight and short-term liquid fund?
See, if you talk about these two funds, the overnight and the short-term liquid funds, so I'm talking about ultra short-term / liquid funds over here, vis-a-vis comparison to the overnight. Definitely, if you look at the risk versus return ratio, the lowest risk in the debt fund category comes in the overnight space. Typically, as the name also depicts, the scheme invests in securities which are maturing the next day. So there's a very low credit risk, maturity risk, the interest rate M2M risk, which is mark-to-market risk. Similarly, in the liquid fund also, ultra short-term also, the risk is low, but a notch higher than the overnight funds because they are not maturing the next day. They could be maturing in the next 15 days, 30 days. Therefore, they have, in comparison to the overnight, a little bit higher grade of risk. But mind you, in comparison to the overnight, because a 15-day, 30-day also carries a lower risk. From a return point of view, I think it's obvious that overnight will be a little lower in return because it's an overnight maturity. Liquid and ultra short term will be a shade better than that.
The next question Padma Kumar Patil has is that, can you tell me which is better between ELSS and FMP for a period of more than 3 years on the basis of good return potential and less tax applicable at time of redemption?
See, this is not comparable. They are chalk and cheese because ELSS is a hardcore equity fund and FMP is a pure 100% dead asset class. So the returns cannot be matched at any point of time. An FMP will give you a reasonably assured return at maturity. The current FMP rates typically, if you talk about it, is around anything from a 8.1, 8.2 to 8.6, 8.7%, depending on the quality of the portfolio built by the FMP. So if it's it could be 100% AAA, so it will be in the lower end of the 8%. If it's a combination of AA, AAA, it could be in the higher end of 8.5%. So depending on what portfolio mix you want to create in your portfolio, you can decide what kind of FMP you want to pick it. More than 3 years if you hold, you get the benefit of indexation, which helps you in a lower tax rate. The current rates are 20% more than 3 years with the benefit of indexation. In case of an ELSS, again a lock-in of 3 years, but it's 10% taxable, flat 10% taxable at the end of 3 years once the lock-in gets over. It also gives you a tax base under Section 80C of the IT Act, and the returns are totally dependent on how the equity market behaves over these next 3 years. But the probability of the ELSS outperforming an FMP is far superior, but an FMP offers you a more or less assured return, lower volatility, while equity is anyone's guess.